Gravity, the theory of cosmic attraction, the greatest mystery even today. Theory of gravity has mesmerized both physicists and philosophers. Since when? Since the time an apple fell in front of Sir Isaac Newton. All of us know this. But why apple fell is still a question mark. Everyone knows gravity, but how exactly gravity works is still a hypothesis. Today I will provide a definitive answer to the question. What question? How two entities without any kind of communication attract each other. Anything that has a mass, be it a dust particle or a star, attracts everything else. Only equation that is more or less foolproof is that the more the mass, the higher is the attraction, and the higher the distance, lesser is the attraction. So in this discourse, I will put up the explanations and criticisms of two proposed theories. Please follow me carefully. Theory 1. The space network, where the space is assumed to be a net and a massive body is placed on the net. Look at the figure. You would see that the massive object creates a downward slope all around it, and any object, if placed around it, would fall back towards the previous object because of the curvature. But there is a big flaw in the hypothesis. If any object is placed on the net, tell me why the net will dip. There has to be some force pulling the object downward. We see it everywhere. Why? Because the earth pulls everything down. But if we talk about the planetary bodies, the sun, the planets, the nebula, everything, who is trying to pull it downward? Try to understand in the entire cosmos what do you mean by the word down. If there is something called space net, then there has to be something called up and down in the space, and there also has to be external gravity spread everywhere to make this gravity work. So if there is no absolute up and down, then the whole hypothesis falls flat. Remember, I said if. Now, number 2, space-time warp. This is much closer to reality. Einstein proposed it. Newton said space and time are independent. But Einstein said no, space and time are totally intermingled. He used the term space-time and proposed relativity. The whole scientific community got confused, quite natural. Great scientists of the world were great philosophers. But philosophy is not a cup of tea for ordinary scientists. Leave it. Then What did Einstein suggest? Look at this figure very carefully. The space is not a net, it is a space-time network. Now we are going deep. See, every object is rotating from electron to galaxy. Every object is in motion. Look at the figure again. It is very necessary. It is not dipping the net. The object is warping the entire space-time. Let's come back to the point. Relativity suggests gravity not only influences the velocity of object but also influences the velocity of time. At extreme gravity, the time significantly goes down. Black hole. Even light cannot escape. The gravity is so strong. Light bends so much that the photons cannot pass through but go into it. Close to the black hole, time stops. Do you want to have any spiritual tint? It represents the Nirvikalp Samadhi Kshetra or Turyatit Bhumi. Live it. Now, don't have any misconception that only massive objects have gravitational force. Every atom has a gravitational force. In scriptures, atom is called Anu. Now, let's get into an atom. The ultimate attractive force lies inside that atom or Anu. Now, it is Paramanu, nucleus. Nucleus also attracts, and hence every subatomic particles rotate. It is the ultimate attractive force. Akarshani Shakti. In scriptures, Anu is analogous to Jivatma and Paramanu is analogous to Paramatma. And the Akarshani Shakti, you call it in scriptures Sankarshan Bhagwan, Sheshnag and Balram. Scientists, please don't try to study Paramanu. Don't go inside it. If I tell you through spiritual way, you may not get convinced. So leave it and try to understand it scientifically. You know what a photon is? It is the smallest component of light or a light particle. Now, at the subatomic levels, which is smaller than even a photon, how can you expect to observe it? It is the school level physics. To see something, you need reflection. And secondly, it is proved that the speed of light is the highest. Nothing can cross it. So, something that is more subtle, how can you gauge its speed? Now, combining all what I have said and Note the conclusions. Number 1. Gravity is as omnipresent as God. Because gravity is God. To be more specific, one manifestation of God. Akarshan, main akarshan, madhyaakarshan. Now, from where the attraction happens and how it attracts? Point number 2. It attracts everything from everywhere. There is no one specific town in the entire cosmos. Every direction can be considered as down. Why? Every direction there is a materialistic object present, parthiv object present, prakriti present, and the Paramanu is the Purush. Now, point number 3. Ultimate attraction center is the Paramanu. Hence, everything manifested from singularity and will go back to the singularity, which is Paramatma, Parampurush. And until everything goes back, work, stress, dissatisfaction, struggle, and mostly motion will remain. It leads to the most important and final conclusion. How gravity works? The answer is motion, circular motion that warps the entire space-time around it, that attracts everything around it, that creates gravitational field around it. See the figure again. Now go back to the same gravitational equation. Look at the denominator, higher distance, lesser attraction. Quite natural, everything wants to go back to the singularity. But if distance is higher, the realization it wants to go back to the singularity is lesser. Now, you will ask me, how can the material objects have a realization? Are they conscious? So please follow my previous discourse of quantum physics. Yes, everything is conscious. Thank you.